Chapter 1. A haunting melody in the small, dimly lit recording studio in the heart of Seoul. Park Min-ji, a talented and ambitious K-pop girl, sat anxiously as she waited for her audition. She had spent years dreaming of making it big in the music industry, but her dreams had been shattered by one man, Kang Joon-ho, a ruthless and manipulative producer who had stolen her debut opportunity and crushed her spirit. Determined to seek revenge, Min-ji had returned to Korea after spending years honing her skills abroad. As the door creaked open, Min-ji's heart raced with anticipation. A tall figure emerged from the shadows, his cold eyes piercing through her soul. It was Kang Joon-ho himself. He smirked, knowing the power he held over her. Well, if it isn't Park Min-ji, Kang Joon-ho sneered. Back for another shot at stardom, are we? Min-ji maintained her composure, her eyes filled with a fiery determination. I'm not here to beg for a second chance. I'm here to show you what you missed out on all those years ago. With a wicked grin, Kang Joon-ho motioned for Min-ji to take her place in the recording booth. As she stood behind the microphone, she couldn't help but feel a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. This was her moment, her chance to prove herself. As Min-ji began to sing, her voice filled the room, resonating with a haunting beauty that sent shivers down Kang Joon-ho's spine. A ghostly aura seemed to envelop the studio, as if the very walls were echoing her pain and determination. I'll make you regret discarding me like yesterday's news, Min-ji whispered between lyrics, her voice taking on an ominous tone. Kang Joon-ho's facade crumbled for a brief moment, and doubt flickered in his eyes. He had underestimated Min-ji's tenacity and her burning desire for revenge. But he quickly regained his composure, refusing to let her intimidate him. Enough, he bellowed, cutting off her performance. You think you can come back here and threaten me with your mediocre talent? You're nothing but a failed has-been, Min-ji. Min-ji faced him, her eyes filled with an icy determination. Oh, Kang Joon-ho, you have no idea what I'm capable of. With a smirk, she exited the recording booth, leaving Kang Joon-ho bewildered and slightly unnerved. Little did he know, Min-ji had a dark secret up her sleeve, one that would haunt him for the rest of his days. As the days turned into weeks, Min-ji's vengeance plot began to unfold. Strange occurrences plagued Kang Joon-ho's life, unexplained noises in the dead of night, shadows lurking in the corners of his vision, and ghostly whispers that echoed through his mind. Unable to sleep or find peace, Kang Joon-ho desperately sought answers. He visited shamans, psychics, and even delved into forbidden rituals, all in an attempt to rid himself of the relentless torment. But nothing could soothe his troubled soul. In the midst of his torment, Kang Joon-ho received an anonymous package, a recording of Min-ji's haunting performance in the studio that fateful day. As he listened to her voice, the memories flooded back, along with a chilling realization. Min-ji's voice was not alone on the recording. Mixed in with her haunting melody were echoes of her pain, her vengeance, and the spirits she had summoned to aid her. Terrified, Kang Joon-ho finally understood the depth of Min-ji's revenge. She had called upon supernatural forces to haunt him, to remind him of the cruelty he had inflicted upon her. He was trapped in a never-ending nightmare of his own making. As the years passed, the legend of Kang Joon-ho's torment spread, becoming a cautionary tale in the Korean music industry. Artists, producers, and executives whispered about the vengeful ghost of Min-ji, warning others of the consequences of ignoring talent and crushing dreams. And so, in the cold, dark corners of that recording studio, Min-ji's voice continued to echo, serving as a reminder to those who dared to wield power without conscience. Revenge, it seemed, could indeed be a haunting melody that lingered long after the final note. Chapter 2. The curse unveiled. Min-ji stood outside the studio, her gaze fixed on the unsuspecting victim of her revenge, Kang Joon-ho. The years had not been kind to him. His once vibrant black hair was now streaked with gray, and his eyes held a perpetual look of fear and regret. Min-ji, a voice whispered, barely audible. She turned to find Ji-hai, her best friend and accomplice, standing beside her. Are you sure this is what you want? Min-ji nodded, her expression resolute. Ji-hai, he ruined my life. Now, it's time for him to pay. As the sun began to set, Min-ji and Ji-hai tiptoed into Kang Joon-ho's lavish apartment. The air was heavy with anticipation and the weight of revenge. They made their way to his music room, adorned with awards and memorabilia that served as haunting reminders of his past success. Kang Joon-ho sat at his grand piano, his trembling hands poised above the keys. He couldn't escape the feeling of being watched, of impending doom lurking in the shadows. He ran his fingers through his thinning hair, his senses heightened with paranoia. Suddenly, the room grew eerily silent. Kang Joon-ho's heart raced as he watched the piano keys depress on their own, producing a haunting melody that echoed through the apartment. What is this? Who's there? Kang Joon-ho's voice quivered with fear. Min-ji and Ji-hai stood in the doorway, watching him unravel. Ji-hai glanced at Min-ji, her eyes filled with concern. Maybe this is enough, Min-ji. We've made our point. Min-ji's eyes never left Kang Joon-ho's trembling figure. No, Ji-hai. He must suffer as I did. With a swift motion, Minji pulled a strand of hair from a lock of Kang Junho's beloved wig that sat on a nearby mannequin head. She whispered an incantation under her breath, infusing the hair with her vengeance-laden energy. The piano keys continued their sinister melody, growing louder and more dissonant with each passing moment. Kang Junho clutched his head, unable to bear the torment any longer. "This is insane. Stop it, please," he pleaded, his voice desperate and broken. Minji took a step forward, her voice filled with cold determination. "You destroyed my dreams, Kang Junho. Now, your own nightmares will consume you." As the curse took hold, Kang Junho's apartment became a twisted maze of shadows and flickering lights. Visions of his past wrongdoings taunted him at every turn, replaying moments he thought he had long buried. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," Kang Junho sobbed, sinking to his knees. "Please, make it stop." Minji and Jihai exchanged a glance. This had gone further than they had anticipated. With a heavy sigh, Minji approached Kang Junho, her voice softened. "I was once like you, ambitious and hungry for success. But you took that away from me," she said, her words filled with sorrow. "Remember this torment, Kang Junho. Remember the pain you caused." As the clock struck midnight, silence fell over the apartment. The curse had run its course, leaving Kang Junho a shell of his former self. He slumped against the piano, his eyes empty and haunted. Minji turned away, a mix of satisfaction and sadness coursing through her veins. The revenge she had sought had been exacted, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something had been lost along the way. "Let's go, Jihai," Minji said, her voice heavy with sorrow. "It's time to leave this nightmare behind." Jihai nodded, casting one last look at the broken man in the corner. As they walked out of the apartment, Minji couldn't help but wonder if revenge had truly brought her the closure she had craved all these years. Little did she know, the echoes of her haunting melody and the curse she had woven would continue to linger, leaving an indelible mark on the soul of Kang Junho and everyone who dare cross paths with the vengeful spirit of Park Minji. Chapter 3. The reckoning. A year had passed since Minji's revenge reached its peak, leaving Kang Junho a mere ghost of his former self. The tale of his torment had become the stuff of legend, whispered among industry insiders, cautioning against the cruelty of ambition gone awry. Minji had retreated to a solitary life, content with having fulfilled her vengeance and reclaiming her power. But the fates had other plans in store for her. She received an unexpected call from a music producer, Seo Jinwoo, who had heard of her haunting voice and wanted to collaborate on a new project. Curiosity piqued, Minji decided to meet Seo Jinwoo at a cozy cafe in downtown Seoul. As she entered the cafe, she noticed a tall figure seated near the window, engrossed in his laptop. His thick-rimmed glasses and messy hair gave him an endearing, slightly disheveled look. Minji, Seo Jinwoo's warm smile greeted her as she approached the table. "It's a pleasure to meet you." Minji nodded, her eyes scanning him with a mix of skepticism and intrigue. "Likewise, Seo Jinwoo. What is it exactly that you have in mind?" Seo Jinwoo leaned forward, his voice filled with excitement. "I've heard the tales of your haunting voice, Minji. I dare to create an album that captures the essence of your revenge, blending it with elements of redemption and healing." Minji raised an eyebrow, intrigued yet cautious. "A redemption album? How do you plan to achieve that?" Seo Jinwoo sipped his coffee, considering her question. "I believe in the power of music to transmute pain into something beautiful. Let's create art that tells the story of your journey from revenge to redemption, from darkness to light. A symphony of healing and growth." Minji pondered his words, feeling a flicker of hope within her. She had unleashed the darkness within her own heart, but perhaps this collaboration offered a chance at catharsis and a chance to inspire others as well. "All right, Seo Jinwoo," Minji said, her voice filled with determination. "Let's do it. Let's make music that resonates with the depths of the human experience." And so, their collaboration began. Minji poured her heart and soul into each song, infusing her haunting melodies with newfound wisdom and vulnerability. Seo Jinwoo guided her every step of the way, his expertise and creative force shaping their project into something truly transformative. Throughout the process, the bond between Minji and Seo Jinwoo grew stronger, a friendship forged by shared experiences and the passion for their craft. They laughed together, cried together, and delved into the depths of their emotions, emerging stronger and more hopeful with each passing day. Months passed, and the day of the album's release arrived. The world held its breath, eager to hear the sound of redemption set to music. As the first notes filled the airwaves, people from all walks of life felt a profound connection to the raw and honest emotions woven into the songs. Minji, Seo Jinwoo, and their team stood in awe as the album climbed the charts, touching the hearts of millions. They had created something extraordinary, a tapestry of healing and triumph that resonated far beyond the confines of revenge and darkness. Looking out at the sea of fans during their first concert, Minji couldn't help but feel a sense of fulfillment. She had conquered her past, not through vengeance, but through the power of her voice and the resilience of her spirit. As the crowd cheered for an encore, Minji turned to Seo Jinwoo, her voice filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Jinwoo, for believing in me and helping me find my voice again." Seo Jinwoo smiled, his eyes glistening with pride. "No, Minji, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. Together, we have created something truly remarkable." And with that, Minji took the stage once more, her haunting melodies now filled with a newfound hope and a promise of redemption. As her voice echoed through the venue, the crowd swayed, their hearts lifted by the beauty of her music. This was Minji's reckoning, a transformation that turned pain into power, darkness into light, and revenge into art. And wherever her melodies traveled, she left behind a trail of healing, inspiring others to find their own redemption in the face of adversity. Chapter 4. A Melody Reborn. Years had passed since the release of Minji's transformative album, and her music had touched countless lives, leaving a profound impact on those who had listened. She had become a beacon of inspiration, her story celebrated as a testament to the indomitable human spirit. One evening, as Minji basked in the warm glow of success, she received an unexpected visitor at her doorstep. It was Kang Junho, the man she had once sought revenge against. Time had not been kind to him, his once piercing eyes now clouded with regret and weariness. "Minji," he said, his voice laden with humility. "I need to speak with you. Please, give me a moment." Reluctantly, Minji invited him in, curious about his intentions after all these years. They settled in the cozy living room, the air heavy with memories and unspoken truths. Kang Junho took a deep breath, his hands visibly trembling. "Minji, I have come to apologize," he began, his voice shaky. "I have spent years haunted by my actions, tormented by the pain I caused you. I can't escape the remorse, no matter what I do." Minji listened, her heart still guarded but open to the possibility of healing. Kang Junho's words carried a weight of vulnerability she had never expected to witness in him. "I understand if you can never forgive me," Kang Junho continued, his eyes filled with regret. "But I had to come here and confess the extent of my remorse. You deserved better, and I robbed you of that opportunity." Minji studied Kang Junho's face, searching for sincerity. She saw a broken man, burdened by the weight of his past actions. Revenge had consumed her once, but now she had moved beyond it, embracing the power of forgiveness and redemption. "Kang Junho," Minji spoke softly, her voice gentle yet resolute. "I appreciate your apology and the courage it took to confront your own wrongdoings. I have long since moved on from the pain you inflicted, and I hold no grudges against you." Kang Junho's expression shifted, a mix of relief and disbelief crossing his features. You mean you can forgive me?" Minji nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Forgiveness is not about absolving you of your past actions, but freeing myself from the burden of carrying anger and hatred. I have found peace within myself, and I hope you may find it too." Tears welled up in Kang Junho's eyes as he took in Minji's words, his heart slowly untangling from the torment of his past. "Thank you, Minji. You've shown me a kindness I never deserved." With that, Kang Junho rose from his seat, a newfound lightness in his step. He glanced at Minji one last time, gratitude etched on his face, before making his way to the door. As the door closed behind Kang Junho, Minji couldn't help but feel a sense of completion. Her journey had come full circle, transforming from a tale of revenge to one of forgiveness and renewal. Her haunting melodies had become a catalyst for change, not only in her own life but in the lives of others as well. With renewed purpose, Minji returned to her music, continuing to create melodies that touched hearts and souls. She became an advocate for the power of forgiveness, using her platform to inspire others to let go of their own burdens and embrace the beauty of redemption. Minji's story, once steeped in darkness and revenge, had evolved into a melody of hope and resilience. She had turned the ashes of her past into the flames of her future, a beacon of light in a world that often suffocated with anger and bitterness. And as the years went by, Minji's music reverberated through the streets, reminding all who listened that even in the face of adversity, the power of forgiveness could help us find the strength to heal, to grow, and to create a melody of our own.